So Shiva, during the time of COVID, again, we can't be together face to face. Can you share a little bit about your experience with virtual Shivas? Um, what do you feel has worked really well? What has been challenging for families?
I, I would say my response is very similar to that of funerals in general. What is challenging for families is not having a larger group of people there, not being able to give them a hug, not having them in your presence. But what has worked is having people who may not be able to be there because of distance or for some other reason be present. I have found, shockingly, that there are some really, really nice things about a virtual Shiva. And you can have a lot of people on the Zoom screen sharing memories. And then often, depending on the family, some choose to have a full, they tend to be in the evening, a full evening service that will do. Others just want to do 2 or 3 prayers. I always encourage families to do at least one ritual something or other, whether it's the mourner's Kaddish or the El Malay Rachamim, the Jewish memorial prayer, or whether it's even just a poem that the deceased found powerful, or a song, just something to remember the deceased in a different way. But one thing I've really liked about virtual Shivas is that sometimes everyone talks, and you don't get that in a regular Shiva. I did virtual Shiva. It was a friend's father who passed away at 94 recently. And at first I just kind of invited it, would anyone like to share anything? And it was the second night of Shiva and everyone was pretty quiet. And then his daughter said to me, you know what, last night we invited everyone to say something, just call on everyone on the screen. And if they want to say no thanks, they'll say no thanks. And so I thought, oh no, that's putting people on the spot. But it turned out to be so lovely, because not only did the people who knew him say something, but even the 3 daughters' friends who never would have spoken otherwise they all said something, even if it was something as simple as, you're my dear friend, I miss you, I send you my love and hugs, I'm sorry I can't be with you. But others said, from what I've heard about your dad over these last few days between the funeral and last night's Shiva, here's what really touched me. So you had all of these people who probably never would have spoken all share something. And I found that really powerful. Does it make up for it? I don't think it will ever, once we can be back together in person, I hope it doesn't ever replace in-person Shiva, but I hope, and I think there may be also some sort of role in the future for these virtual Shivas, whether it's separate from or one evening as part of what we think of as regular Shiva, especially for those who just are too far, or for whatever physical or other reasons can't be there.
Anita, do you have anything to add to that?
Not a lot. I think I've been at 3. One was kind of messy. One was well run. I just want to shout out for having somebody in charge of a Shiva. So especially if you're doing a service, to make sure somebody is careful about whatever kind of service, even if it's saying Kaddish at some point in the evening, that someone's in charge. Someone needs to be the moderator also. But when that happens, one of my dear friends' father died in California, and she couldn't go. It was right at the worst of it. Her brothers were there with her mother, and her brothers came on the screen, and we learned a lot about her dad, the quirks as well as the jokes and everything about him. And it was just, I felt really glad to have been there to support my friend and to hear about him. And it felt like a real Shiva to me. It really did. The other one was so sort of disorganized that I felt guilty that I couldn't sort of keep my attention on it. So like anything, it helps to have somebody guiding it. And I think that's true online or offline in the world as well, but it was very vividly, it was vivid in that case. And the good one was truly, I will always remember it. It was very powerful and fun and I felt that we consoled my friend also. I could see that and then I talked to her afterwards, and I know how much it meant to her. So it can work. And I also agree that I think in the future, if someone's far away and can't make it, or someone's sick in bed and can't make it, having them in the room virtually is a good thing. It's a good thing. Not to replace it, but to augment.
I want to underline something Anita said, which I think is so important. Having someone to be in charge who's not a mourner,
Right.
not be one of the mourners, who is the Zoom host, who lets people in, who keeps things going, who is, if they're not the rabbi or cantor and the person who's running the service, who says who announces at the beginning kind of what the plan is and makes it clear, and who says we're gonna do the service at X time and make sure that happens, or if it's an hour Shiva, making sure you stay, you know, on the schedule, and then anyone else who wants to stay on afterwards, that's fine. But like anything else, there needs to be something and someone in charge who is responsible and can let the mourners be mourners.
Holding the space, right, Rabbi?
Exactly, exactly. And to plug an article I wrote on our website for non-clergy who are running Shiva, offering, you know, all of the Zoom advice and things to do. You know, we do have resources for that. And I think it's really important. It's not just people getting on Zoom where you're going to have the bad experience, Anita, that had that time. But it really does, like anything else, take some planning and someone to be in charge and hosting and moderating.